Hello students, today in this video I shall continue discussing skeletal system for standard 9. For the skeletal system, this is video number 6. Here it is, skeletal system video number 6 for class 9. In this video we will begin with appendicular skeleton, and as time progresses, let us see how far we can cover this for the skeletal system. First of all, appendicular skeleton, bones of the limbs and girdles. First of all, we'll discuss the bones present in the limbs, forelimb and hind limb, and then we'll discuss the bones present in the girdles, shoulder girdle and hip girdle. First, number 1, bones of the forelimbs or hands. In each hand there are 30 bones altogether. Each hand there are 30 bones altogether. The bones are as follows. 1, humerus, the longest and strongest bone in the hand. That is humerus. Spelling, be careful. There are two humerus words. One word is there, humerus, R-O-U-S. It is not R-O-U-S. H-U-M-E-R-U-S. Humerus. The bone in the upper arm, only one. Radius and ulna, the bones of the lower arm. Radius is present at the thumb side, and ulna is present at the inner side of the hand. So there are two bones as radius and ulna. Carpals, the wrist bones. The bones in the wrist, altogether there are 8 bones. Carpal bones are small, solid and flat surfaced bone. A little bit of hexagonal, squarish type of, cuboidal type of bones present in the wrist, who are having flat surface bones and joined side by side and forming a gliding joint. Carpal bones are small, solid and flat surfaced bones which form a gliding joint in the wrist. This is gliding joint. Number 4, metacarpals, the bone in the palm. Metacarpals, the bone in the palm, there are total is 5. 5 elongated bones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these 5 elongated bones forming the palm. Phalanges, the bones in the fingers. Bones in the fingers, there are total. The thumb contains only 2 bones who are also joined, and the 4 other fingers having 3 bones altogether. The thumb is made out of 2 bones, whereas all other 4 fingers have 3 each. So 3 fours are 12 plus 2, 14. So 14 bones are there altogether in the fingers. That means if you add these numbers, you will get total number of bones in the hand is 30. Therefore, two forelimbs or hands are having 30 into 2, 60 bones in total. Only if you consider the hands contain 60 bones altogether. Similarly, legs also contain 60 bones altogether. Now let us see the picture of the bones in the hand. Watch this picture where the bones of the forelimb is been given, one of them, and mainly observe the green marked bones. There are details marked, but only green parts. Now let us see the bones present in the legs. And the bones present in the legs are also similar in systematics as you have seen in case of hands. Let us see. Bones of the hind limbs or legs. In each leg there are 30 bones altogether, same as that of hand. In each leg there is 30 bones, and 2 legs, 30 into 2, 60 bones. The bones are as follows. Number 1, first bone is the femur, the thigh bone, only one. It is the longest and strongest bone of the body. There is a reason behind it, because this bone carries the whole body weight onto it. That's why it is necessary that it becomes the strongest, and it is also the longest bone of the body. So this is longest and strongest bone of the body. Next one, next to the femur bone, there is the knee joint. And at the knee joint, there is this special type of bone which is absent. Such kind of bone is absent in the hand, is called patella. Number 2, patella or the kneecap. Commonly we call it kneecap. This is a sesamoid bone. Remember, this bone is not, such bone is not there in hand. There is a reason behind it, because this knee is carrying the weight of the body, so that's why it requires a special protection from front, and that's why this patella is there. And it is a sesamoid bone. Sesamoid bone means the bone that is developed from tendon. Here it is, the bone that develops from the tendon. This is called sesamoid bone. Remember this term, sesamoid bone. Next bone is the lower leg or shank. Tibia and fibula. There are 2 bones similar to the lower arm of the hand. Bones in the shank or lower leg, 2 in number. Tibia is stronger and in the inner bone, whereas fibula is the outer one. Fibula means slightly weaker in compared to tibia, and it is present on the outer side of the body. So tibia and fibula, 2 bone in each leg. That is making the shank of our leg, the lower portion of the leg. Next, similar to carpals, we are coming on to tarsal bones, bones in the ankle, 7. See the balance there. Patella is taking 1 number. That is, bone is absent in, such a bone is absent in case of the arm, hand, whereas in case of the ankle there are 7 bones instead of 8. This you remember, this is the difference. These bones correspond carpals in the hand. Similar type bones, only heel bone is bigger and stronger. Heel bone is needed to be bigger because it, once again, the whole weight is going on to the heel. So that's why heel bone is slightly bigger, and other bones are similar to the carpals, which is making a gliding joint to each other. Bigger and stronger. So 7 carpal bones, tarsal bones, bones in the ankle. Tarsal bones, not carpal. Carpal is in the wrist. And next is metatarsals, bones in the foot. That is making the foot. There are 5, similar to the palm. There are 5 metacarpals, here 5 metatarsals. These are 5 bones correspond to metacarpals in the hand. And finally, phalanges, same as that of bones present in the fingers of our hand. Phalanges, bones in the toes, 14 in number, similar to the bigger finger bones, 2 in the greater toe and 3 in other 4. 3 fours are 12 plus 2, 14. If you add all these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 11, 16 and then 14, total 30. Therefore, there are 13 to 2, 60 bones in 2 legs. That means 2 legs altogether having 60 bones. So 60 plus 60, 120 bones in the arm, hands and legs together. Now let us see the picture where the parts of this, what you have just seen in the picture, and carefully observe the levels. Now you see the bones of the leg. One leg is shown. See femur, the patella at the junction of femur and tibia. That fibula is the side and the foot bones. Now we come on to the girdles of the appendicular skeleton. First of all, we'll pick up the shoulder girdle or pectoral girdle. Here it is, the shoulder girdle or pectoral girdle. This girdle is actually an area of junction where axial skeleton and appendicular skeleton is joined. Means hand is joined with the main axis of the body. Each shoulder have 2 bones making pectoral girdle. Each girdle there are only made by 2 bones. One is a collar bone, one is the shoulder blade. This effectively joins the head of the humerus bone and forming one of the best ball and socket joint at the shoulder. In the shoulder region, the humerus bone is fitted in such a way that the head of humerus is rotating in a cavity, and this cavity and the junction is made by convergence of these two bones. The bones are clavicle or collar bone. This collar bone, though it is started from here, but at the shoulder it goes and forms the girdle. In front it is joined on the sternum above the ribs. In front it is joined on the sternum above the ribs. The other side form the joint in the edge of the shoulder. So that is only one bone. Scapula or shoulder blade. It is at the back side of our shoulder. It is a triangular bone present at the back of the shoulder. Triangular bone, but one part of it is joined in such a way that it forms the pectoral girdle. So one bone here, one bone there. Together there are two bones. And third aspect is that though it is not a bone, the third aspect is the most important part, because that makes the ball and socket joint. Together, clavicle and scapula forming a cavity called glenoid cavity. A kind of a rounded hole is called glenoid cavity, in which the head of the humerus rotates, and that's why this makes a ball and socket joint, in which head of the humerus rotates, and because of this rotation it is giving the one of the best ball and socket joint in our body. We'll discuss joints later, and this is one of them, ball and socket joint. So altogether what happens? Altogether there are 4 bones. Therefore, in 2 pectoral girdles, there are 4 bones. Together there are 4, 2 here, 2 there. So 4 bones altogether in the shoulder girdle. Let us see the bones of the shoulder girdle. These are the bones that is clearly leveled in the shoulder girdle. See the scapula or the shoulder blade. Head of the humerus fitting in the glenoid cavity, though glenoid cavity is not leveled here, but at the head, and the clavicle. Now let us discuss about the pelvic girdle or hip girdle. This is the part, the hip girdle or pelvic girdle. Hip girdle is the common term that we are using, and pelvic girdle is the technical term that we are using. There are only 2 hip bones, one bone making one girdle. 2 hip bones in 2 sides, left and right. Right side one bone, left side one bone. Only 2 hip bones forming the 2 hip girdle. That means one side of the girdle made by only one bone. However, each bone of a side is formed by the fusion of 3 bones. Actually, they may be formed only one bone they are found, but actually one bone of the one side is formed by fusion of 3 bones up and down, and it forms a kind of a structure which gives a kind of a trough-like form. It is not straight down. It is just like a wash basin and forming a gap through which the lower abdominal organs are communicating. The first bone that in the fusion is called ilium. I-L-I-U-M. Be careful about this spelling. This I am marking because there is one more ilium present in our body, that is the part of the small intestine. That small intestine ilium, the spelling is I-L-E-U-M. Here it is I-L-I-U-M. ILIUM means the bone that is in the pelvic girdle. The upper portion of the girdle is the biggest one of the other two compared to the other two. This is fused with ischium, the next one down there is the lower portion of the girdle. That again fused with pubis, the lower frontal part of it, forming the pubic region of our body. This lower frontal part of the fused single bone. These three bones fuse together to form only one bone, and that makes a girdle of one side. So two sides, total two bones. The pubic bones of two sides are articulated by a cartilage called symphysis pubis. Two pubic bone, when they are coming face to face, that is joined by means of a strip of cartilage. That cartilage is called symphysis pubis. This symphysis pubis is actually the junction between the two. And finally, the cavity that is required for the ball and socket joint in the pelvic region or hip region is made by a cavity called acetabulum. This acetabulum or cavity at the lower portion of ilium, in which the head of the femur rotates. Head of the femur rotates into that, forming a very nice ball and socket joint. There are two ball and socket joint sets. One ball and socket joint set is present in the shoulder. The other ball and socket joint set is present in the hip girdle. And this is made by acetabulum, the cavity, and the head of the femur. Because of this ball and socket joint, our legs and hand is moving in different planes, and the maximum degree of movement is possible. So this is the hip girdle. Therefore, there are only two bones in the two pelvic girdles in total. Let us see the pelvic girdle and see the levels and see the fusion of the bones, how it is present. And that will conclude the video for the appendicular skeleton. This is the picture of the pelvic girdle, both sides. Okay, observe carefully the levels. The pubic symphysis is shown here, and carefully understand as is been described in the video. This is separately the girdle is been taken. One thing is not told, that the sacrum is joined with the ilium bone, that makes the total girdle.